Do you guys love the Mercury Dimes as much as I do? Let's take a look. Hey YouTube, how you guys doing? This is Silver Husky welcoming you back again. Today we're going to be talking about Mercury Dimes, and if you guys are new to the channel, please go ahead and hit that like button and please subscribe. If you like what you see, I think you guys will. I always like to talk about fun stuff, or at least things that I think are interesting. Today we're going to be discussing the Mercury Dime. So a little bit of history on the Mercury Dime. You can actually find it in one of these books, and these books are really a great place to start if you're going to start coin collecting. It'll get you familiar with the years of issue, the mintages, and things like that. So as we crack it open, you see it's got a little slot for every year and mint mark, but let's look at a little bit at the history. Mercury Dime collection, 1916 to 1945. It tells you the composition and size, etc. And this coin type was designed by sculptor Adolf Weinman, who also created the Walking Liberty half dollar. His initials appear as a monogram above the date to the right. Although this is popularly known as the Mercury Dime, the head is in fact a representation of Miss Liberty with wings crowning her cap. This symbolizes the liberty of thought. Mercury's nickname came from Liberty's resemblance to the Roman god of trade, commerce, and profit. The reverse shows a fasces, symbolic of unity, and an olive branch. Letters S for San Francisco and D for Denver are the mint marks, which appear following the word 1 on the reverse of the coin. Coins struck in Philadelphia have no mint mark. Beneath each coin opening in this folder, you're going to find the quantity minted for that year / mint mark. And here is an example. Let me just pop this open. I'll get all 3 pages out. And you can see there's plenty of slots. So there were definitely many mint marks and different years, and there were even some variations. But let's start from the beginning. 1916, you can see 22.2 million. That's the Philadelphia one. 1916D, that's the kicker right there. If you can find one of those, there were only 264,000 of those ever minted. Many of them were melted down or lost, destroyed, etc. You can see here some of the other years. But that 1916D, that's the whopper. If you can get that thing, that is that's a pretty penny right there. But you can see I have a few that are, missing, and there are several of them that actually are in fairly decent condition considering their age. That 1920 100-year-old coin, right? And it still looks pretty decent. Now, these coins were heavily circulated. They were used in normal commerce, so they did take wear. Occasionally, you might find a roll that was tucked away somewhere, maybe forgotten about, maybe in a bank's vault for many decades, and then that's where some of the nicer examples come from. But you can see, again, many slots open. I do have some filled, and what I always try to do is replace them as I find better condition coins. If I ever buy a roll or anything like that, if I find a better condition, I'm going to swap it out and move the newer one into here, and the older one will go in my tube. I'll show you the tube in a second, but just the I guess the overstock tubes. And you can see as I get towards the later years, they're all full because those are easier to find. And there are 3 slots open. This would be for like the 42/41 date. There's several other little variations that you could, in theory, put right here, but they don't have them marked out. It's kind of like you pick. So yeah, anyways, really awesome little booklet. I suggest that if you're just getting started, you pick one up. I do also have a tube that I use for giveaways. If you've ever been in one of my live streams, many times I do, throw out a Merc-Dime here and there, just to, say thank you to everybody who's supported us thus far, and people who pop into the chat. I want to make sure that they get a little something just for hanging out. Not paying you to be on my channel, but definitely do appreciate having you guys around. So anyways, these ones are just generic Merc Dimes, nothing too special about them. If you get something pretty awesome, let me know. That would be cool. And I'd be happy to hear that I was a part of sharing a little bit of that with you. I do have a couple of tubes that are full. These are, again, not anything that's necessarily slab worthy. However, they are Mercury Dimes. So again, these ones will carry a little bit more of a premium than your typical Roosevelt Dimes. And of course, the Barber Dimes carry a little bit more of a premium than the Mercury Dimes. It kind of goes by age. But, every now and then you can pick out a pretty decent one. Like here's a really nice one. I can't so much tell the year on it, but it is very nice, right? It has that nice dark toning to it, or patina, as some people like to call it. So yeah, I mean, sometimes I go through and I just I like to to look at my Mercury Dimes because they are pretty. But you can see how worn down some of these really are. They're not pretty to look at, other than the fact that they're a really cool piece of history. And you can find these at your local coin shop. If you walk in and you ask to see the junk silver bin or the junk dimes, sometimes you'll see one of these tucked in there somewhere. Little tip of advice: when you're buying junk dimes, always check the edges. After you've stacked out how many you're going to buy, always check the edges, because I've had it happen like 3 or 4 times already that there were actually clad dimes mixed in, and I paid junk silver price for clad dimes. But here's a nice one that I found. When I find these really nice condition ones, I do put them in a little flip just to keep them preserved. I figured if they're already looking this good and they're that old, might as well keep them a little bit longer. So here you go. This is a 1941, and on the reverse side you will see this fasces, basically a bunch of reeds bound together with an axe blade on it. It has bands that bind it, right? And you see the bands going across the top, middle, and bottom. I'll give you a little bit of a zoom right here, and you can see there should be 3 on the top, 2 in the middle, 2 on the bottom. Let me get a good zoom in here. I'm going to point them out to you. Yeah, 3 on the top, right? And then in the middle section should be 2, and then here at the bottom there should be 2. And if they are separated, if you can see clearly definite 3 separate bands with no breaks in those bindings, meaning where it's not joined, right, then that's considered full bands, and there is a premium on coins that have full banding. You can see that middle one, they're kind of melded together in that middle section, so it's not quite full banding. Mint mark's going to go down here. That's what they're saying next to the word 1. You'll see that example on one of the next coming coins. Let's bring out another one. This one is 1941D full band, so this will have the mint mark on the back as well as full banding, at least by my eyeballs estimate of full banding. We may disprove myself here in a moment when I flip it over, but really pretty dime. Look at that condition. It looks brilliant uncirculated for sure, right? And here we go. So we have, there we go. So you can see very definite bindings, separation of the bindings in the bottom, and I'll zoom up a little bit. There's that D for the Denver mint mark. In the middle, you can see the definite separation of the bindings, and on the top, they look pretty separate to me. So I would call this full bands, and that just speaks to the quality of the the stamping of this coin, right? So here's another one. This one's a little bit older, 1926. Actually, it's significantly older. It's one of the earlier years of the minting of this dime. Now, if you had a 1916D in this condition, I think you'd be sitting on a gold mine. That would be probably upwards of $10,000 for a dime like that. And again, correct me if I'm wrong. There's some numismatist out there that maybe knows a little bit more about the 1916D in this condition. But if this was full bands 1916D, that would be sweet. But no, this is 1926, so I'm about 10 years too late, and the mint mark's not right either. So that's okay. You can still take a peek right there. You can see the bindings on the fasces. You see the olive branch on the back, and it looks pretty good. So again, keep it in a flip, keep it safe. Here's another nice one, another 41 with a really cool patina. Almost looks like a splash mark. You can kind of see it when I wiggle it a little bit. When I wiggle it just a little bit. Yeah, so anyways, she looks awesome too. Lady Liberty with the freedom of mind, with those wings on her cap. And on the back side, the reverse, you can see the bindings. Now this one is I'm on the fence about this one. You see the bottom bindings look great. The middle ones, I don't know. They look pretty separated, but there could be question, right? That one could be up for debate. Right there on that left side, you can see what I'm talking about. It looks pretty separated, but it may, I don't know. If I send it in for grading, they might not give it to me. So anyways, this one's not going in for grading. Actually, I'm not sending any of them in for grading. I'm kind of just hanging on to them and sharing them with you guys. This one, I think this one is the beauty. By my opinion, and again, this is my limited opinion, I think this is the best dime I have. Also, one that I would call a gem BU. BU being brilliant uncirculated. There are some scratches on the plastic. However, there are a couple of little contact marks on the coin itself. So yeah, right in front of her forehead, you can see a small little contact mark. And then on the reverse actually looks really good. So I'm very happy with this one. And this one is also full banding, bottom, middle, and top. So super awesome dimes. These are my babies. I had a few more, you see the Denver mint mark at the bottom. I had a few more of these that were in really great condition. None as nice as this one or the previous 1941 that I showed. But I've been giving them out. I give them out as prizes and giveaways and things like that. So I do love Mercury Dimes. I think that they're pretty awesome, and I'm sure a lot of you do too. If you have your own favorite piece of American coinage, please let me know in the comments section below. And don't forget to hit like, hit subscribe, ring that notification bell, and of course we look forward to seeing you guys real soon.